to refresh. In this file, you'll actually see a section called load balancing mode. What the default value is going to be 0. We want to actually change that to 1. So we're just going to change it to 1 here. And then save it. And we're just going to close. The next thing that we need to do is we need to open up the web.config. We actually need to tell channel sales where is our load balancing server. So we actually define that in the web.config file of channel sales. So I'm going to open that guy up. So we're going to scroll down. There'll be a section called load balance client configuration. And in there you'll see your instance ID for our application. And then we'll see this load balance query service URL. I'll wait for my screen to refresh. So what we want to do is we actually want to point this to where our query service is, which gets laid down by InTouch. So we're going to type in my InTouch URL, cs InTouch. And I called it InTouch, and it's going to be slash query service slash query service.asmx. Now, you also notice that there's these other things called load balance app types. And in here you'll see interactive configurator, you'll see implicit configurator, and you also see channel sales application. In the event that this URL right here, the CS InTouch query service.asmx, if it cannot contact that URL, what it's going to do is it's actually going to use these URLs in the load balance app types. So CS server 1, I mean all these URLs are going to be correct, so I'm just going to leave those alone for right now. So I'm going to jump back over to my InTouch machine here. Okay, so I'm back on InTouch, and it still says server state down. What it's actually doing is every 5 minutes it's going to ping those servers for the CPU utilization and the server state if it's up or down. So it probably hasn't reached that 5 minutes yet, so it should come up to an up state here pretty soon. So let's just give that a minute here. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to add the background implicit configuration to my CS configurator too. What? Server state? Yeah. So I'm back on register servers. You'll notice that CS server 1, that actually has come up. So I'm going to just start here and wait for CS server 2 to show up. And I'll jump on CS server 1 here and I can start showing you some of the load balancing. So I'm going to go into channel sales and I'm going to start configuring a quote here. And then I'm going to select my part. So let's start a configuration. Doesn't seem like it works, so I'm going to try an IIS reset. Since I changed the settings, I generally need to restart IIS so it picks up those new settings that I changed in the web.config. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, so let's start creating a quote. Now when I launch configuration, since in the load balancing manager I actually set up CS server 2 as my configuration server, when I launch configuration, you'll notice at the bottom of the page in the status bar, it actually should say CS server 2. and I am on CS Server 1 right now for channel sales. So let's configure the box, view detailed options. So if you notice down at the bottom here, when the screen refreshes, okay, there it comes. So if you notice, it actually went to CS Server 2 / Acme Quote Configurator / configuration / config.aspx. So right now, how I set up my load balance environment is I have CS Server 1 as my channel sales server and CS Server 2 as my configurator server. So what I need to do next is I need to actually configure load balancing on CS Server 2. So if someone tries to go to channel sales on that application, on that server, it'll redirect me to CS Server 1 for channel sales. So I'm gonna switch over to CS Server 2 here. I'm gonna do that real quick. Refreshing. I do want to mention that I am kind of browsing over this topic extremely quickly, and what I've done is I actually created a PowerPoint going over every single step that I've taken to set up this environment, and we are actually going to post that PowerPoint along with this video on the support site. Okay, so I quickly went over setting up InTouch, our channel sales, to point to my load balancing server, which is also my InTouch server. So if you notice, since in my load balancing manager, I set up CS Server 1 as my only channel sales server and CS Server 2 as my configurator server. So what should happen is when I go to CS Server 2 / Acme Quote, which is channel sales, it should actually redirect me to CS Server 1. So it seemed like it did that. So now I'm actually on CS Server 1, as you can tell up here in the address bar. So I can go ahead and log in. And I can go and configure. So it's on CS Server 2. So if I go back to InTouch, I can configure my environment any way I want, all by using this ByDesign Service Manager. So I can go in here and actually add CS Server 1 as also a configurator server. So I'm going to go in here and type in CS Server 1, so Server 1 configurator interactive. Now also you'll notice there's this usage column. So it will actually tell you how often these services are being hit. So you can actually keep track of how many configurations are being ran on your server by just looking at this table here. So I'm going to add this guy. So now I have CS Server 1 as my channel sales server and my configurator server. So I'm going to jump back onto my channel sales box here. So if I do another, oh, I got to restart the app. I think I typed in my URL incorrectly. Yes, I did. Configurator / configuration / config.aspx. There we go. Start a new quote. So I'm on CS Server 2 right now for configurator, so I'm just going to go here and configure my box. But when I start up another configuration, you'll notice that at the bottom here it says CS Server 1. So it's actually doing a round robin right now. So the next time someone tries to do a configuration, it'll go to CS Server 2, and then the next configuration after that it'll go to CS Server 1. So it'll just keep doing a round robin that way.